Hey, I am Alejandra Azul Lara, Colombian MMA fighter, and don't miss out my interview in Split Decisions, the best combat show around. And yeah, see you.
What's up, everybody? Rob J. Speck, the host here for another episode of Split Decisions. And you might be thinking to yourself, what is Split Decisions? Well, it's your new favorite combat show where we talk about the hottest topics, most important things, but we're not just one dimensional. We literally cover all the best topics in combat sports. Wherever there's something worth talking about, worth exploring, we're there for it. Now, I'm going to introduce my co hosts, starting with my man, Ricky.
They not like us. They not like us. What's up, everybody? Ricky at Sicko Sports on Twitter. Kendrick One, R.I.P. Drake. Now over to my boy Sean.
What is it? Week 5, 6? I don't even know anymore. It's going by fast and times fly when you're having fun. So I'm enjoying the show with my boys and I'm enjoying you guys watching. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, and keep following. Comment in the comments. Tell us what you like about the show. Back to Rob.
Well, it's just that simple. We're looking forward to your participation in all platforms, whether it's Instagram, X, here, right on YouTube, comments, whatever's. You guys see our polls, you see our questions, interact. We'll be pulling your comments, the good ones, and maybe some of the bad ones too, as long as it's not crazy. But speaking of crazy, that so one thing we got to talk about, what we always talk about, is the past before moving on into the future. And one thing I really want to bring the guys in for to talk about is the concept of YouTube fighters and how that even got started in the first place. Now we know the influencer boxing story and all that, but before all that, there was one man. He was the original YouTube fighter. He was the man, and we all remember him, Kimbo Slice. Now, he was a huge sensation, like literally dominated the internet for a few years and parlayed that into a tough house appearance, UFC wins in the UFC, and just becoming a pretty much a national, if not international, icon of what brawlers could still do. Now, mixed martial arts had evolved quite frankly past the age of the big meathead brawlers, but when you have a certain skill set, which is called just knocking people out with a single punch, it was that guy. He was thrilling. He was like such a phenomenon. Like there's so many things I can think of, but I want to get to the gentleman first. Ricky, Sean, man, Kimbo Slice and his impact on the way we looked at YouTube and fighting. Ricky, you first.
Rather, for me, it's easy. Kimbo was popping those backyard fights, those street fights with Kimbo Slice. I was middle school, like just getting into high school, where we weren't watching boxing. We weren't watching the UFC yet like that. We weren't watching it. We were watching Kimbo beat some dude up in a backyard where they're almost tripping on some random shit back there and leaving dudes lumpy and swollen. Like the impact it had on us just as teenagers, some of it kind of a bad influence to think that we could do this too and let's go street fight. But a lot of it was just the natural inability to avoid Kimbo Slice's fights. If you were in that age group, you know who Kimbo was, you saw him, and he wasn't a professional fighter. It was on YouTube. It was right here that you can watch it whenever you want, share it with everybody. And we saw his influence throughout time. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, that season of Tough that you mentioned, Rob, is still to this day the most viewed season of Tough. That didn't have to do with much of anybody else besides Kimbo Slice. Like he was the needle mover of that show, even if he wasn't the one. And the one thing I think Kimbo doesn't get credit for is how hard he worked as well. Like I remember going back and listening to a lot of fighters talk about him, people that were in the gym with him when he started trying to make that transition from that street fighter into MMA, where he was going to get his shot at the UFC. They all talked about Kimbo the same way, which is like this dude really works hard. And if he would have started younger, he definitely would have been a great fighter in the UFC. That's not coming from me. That's coming from the guys that were with him in the Tough House, the people that trained with him down in Florida when he was out there. Everybody says the same thing. Like, man, if he just started earlier, he would have been a problem for people.
Definitely. Sean.
Yeah, I know. I'm the youngest one in the bunch here, and since you guys are a little bit older than I am, and you guys said you guys were watching him in your teenage years, I was watching Kimbo in my preteen years, and watching Kimbo in my preteen years kind of felt illegal. Like when I was watching Kimbo Slice, I didn't know if I should like tell my mom. He like, hey mom, you got to do something about this. I didn't know if I should lock my door. I didn't know what to do because I felt like if somebody caught me watching this, I was going to get arrested. I was about, I don't know the exact age, but I want to say I was young. I also want to say when I was watching this, it wasn't like when I was watching WWE, my parents would let me get away with it. Oh, it's just fake. It's just fake. No, this was real stuff. Like, this isn't stuff me and my brother could do on the trampoline. This was stuff, like I said, I had to watch alone. And for some reason, I loved it. And to this day, I think Kimbo was a huge part of me being a combat sports fan. And like Rob said, he is the originator of YouTube fights. It's cool to see more people taking to it now, but I think we have to pay homage, and I hope forever that name just gets brought up as long as time goes.
Now, I always own this. I'm a little older than Ricky's, which makes me definitely older than Sean. And well, I was out of high school. I was in early college, I believe, when this was going down, and it was huge. It was awesome. One thing though, from that tough house experience that Ricky just mentioned, something that actually spoke to me deep, like deep inside here, and I never forgot this quote. And I'm paraphrasing it as best I can. I'm trying to quote it as best I can. I ain't heard it in many years. Kimbo, he's having the interview part, you know, the solo camera part, and he said, "My whole life I've been looking for the enemy, the enemy, the enemy, and now I see there is no enemy, just the inner me." And I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, like, damn, that like really got to me." So, Mr. Slice, I know you're long past, but we still remember you. Thank you for all you contributed to us directly, indirectly, forever and ever. Now, we're on YouTube. We're talking about YouTube fighters. We're on YouTube here. I can't go any further without talking about the wonderful company that supports us, backs us up, the AllStar Sports app. Fully customizable, no ads, no bullshit. All right, just pure fun, no money involved. And you can make your own leagues to make UFC picks, the best MMA news feed you can find around, and exclusive MMA content. So that is what you want to do when you're looking for, you know, a place to enjoy combat sports news and combat sports media. Now, going into this, we have to talk about the importance of nicknames, right? Nicknames in the sport is huge. Kimbo, I mean, one of the best nicknames in the game. Single, like a Madonna. Like you just say one word and everybody knows. That is impact. And I can go down a great list of nicknames of fighters and its significance, but I'll just say the first thing and let the guys go. I think it's the very first step in building your brand. It's the first step of making yourself easily recognizable, and I honestly think it's a big step a lot of fighters miss. I'm going to start with Sean this time. Sean, what's your thoughts on the significance of fighter nicknames?
I think it's huge. This weekend's UFC card has a bunch of good nicknames. The Combate Global card has a bunch of good nicknames. You
That's
know
right.
what? And since you said you had a list of nicknames, I'm gonna run through a list, a couple of nicknames that I like. Let me start with Darren the Damage Elkins, cool nickname. Dan the Hangman Hooker, cool nickname. The Easton Assassin, you see the jersey here? Larry Holmes himself. That's one of my favorite nicknames. But one that's not to be overlooked, I looked up today since we were going to do the show, is Rick, the ginger with the intent to injure Piper. 5-6 from Alberta, Canada. Never got the chance to shine in a big promotion, but ginger with the intent to injure, 5-6. Love you, man. Big fan now forever.
There you go. Forever fans. Ricky.
Hey, we gotta find that dude. Tag him in this for sure. I don't know when's the last time he got a shout out, but shout out Sean for giving him that nickname. And the list goes on and on. You said something, Rob, that just automatically popped into my head. You were talking about Kimbo and saying it's the inner me, and immediately I was like, Energy, baby. Shout out
Hey.
Energy Johnson. That's a dope nickname. But the one I have as my number one, the top nickname for me, the Korean Zombie. Why is that number one for me? No one says his name, Chan Sung Jung. Nobody calls him that. Only call him Zombie or Korean Zombie. That's it. Nobody even knows how to say his full name. If I went up to somebody and said, "Hey, did you see? When's the last time you saw Chan Sung Jung?" They'd be like, "Who is that? Korean Zombie." Oh yeah, man, this fight and this fight. Like that's why it's a number. It took over. It took over his name. It's not part of his name. That's his name. And then you pair that with the Cranberries. You pair that walking out to that song. Brother, he has a whole country of South Korea singing a song from a band from Ireland. Like that's how great that nickname was. And then one more that I have to mention is T City, because for me that's just one of those if you know type of nicknames. Because Brian Ortega, if I go, oh yeah, his nickname's T City. If you're not in the know, you'll be like, what city is he from? He's from California. Why is it T? I don't understand what's going on. Then you got to know, baby. That triangle, he gets you in it, you're done for unless your name's Alexander Volkanovski. But T-City's a dope nickname just because I love jiu-jitsu, and the fact that he has a nickname that's kind of like you got to be in the know to know, I think is pretty hard.
And that's right. And when it goes to name recognition and single name monikers, I'll say another one, not as like dominant as Zombie, but Shogun Rua. Everybody just calls him Shogun. Does anybody call him Mauricio? Absolutely not. I mean, other than his family, but not any of us. So that's one. What modern era fighter that I just think is hilarious? Andre Feely, Andre Touchy Feely. Come on, like that's boom, 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 right on the nose. And last but not least, I'm going to shout out a BKFC fighter. Some of you guys might know him, some of you don't. Look him up. This is the best name I've ever heard in combat sports. Bobo, the Bible Belt Assassin O'Bannon. Like, oh boy. And guess what? He's from Mississippi and he fights bare knuckle. Go figure, right? So it all kind of lines up. Now, another man that has a really, really awesome nickname, someone you should get to know because we are going to bring it to you. The Combate Global fighters have been blessed to, we're blessed, excuse me, to have them. We have multiple of them. And the first one you need to know is Kimbo Slice. Jimmy Pace Jr., welterweight star of Combate Globals, also goes by the nickname of Kimbo Slice. Welcome, Jimmy. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, my guy. You feel me? It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you, sir. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to get right to the question immediately fans are going to ask you, sir. The nickname, where'd it come from? How'd you get it?
The nickname, Kimbo Slice, pretty much, I had the nickname since I was a kid. Like I used to fight a lot growing up in middle school, elementary, and stuff like that. And I always had like big, heavy hands. So like me just pretty much knocking people out and breaking people's jaw, people always started calling me Kimbo Slice because they say I remind them of Kimbo. And it's like, as I started fighting, my nickname was first Big Bucks. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of people know I know how to get money. You feel me? So they used to call me Big Buck. But the name just took over. Like when I just started knocking everybody out, everybody was like, "Yeah, that's the Kimbo." And then I get it done quick. I don't really go in a fight trying to play around and play games. I'm very aggressive. You feel me? I got the same style as Kimbo. So it's like the nickname. It was naturally came. I ain't really call myself Kimbo Slice. Everybody gave me the nickname, and I just took off with it.
Well, honestly, my man, that's exactly how good nicknames happen. They organically come up. Some guys trying to manufacture and force that, but hey, that's cool that it comes from the people, it comes from the street, comes from when you came up. That's the best nicknames on earth. And man, any comparison to the great Kimbo Slice?
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to be compared to Kimbo Slice because like I was a big fan of him growing up. I watched all of his backyard fights and everything, and then when he got to the UFC, he really made a big impression for like people who come off the street fighting because normally me knowing MMA comes from like jiu-jitsu backgrounds and wrestling backgrounds. It never has been just a fighter to walk off of street fighting and come straight into the UFC and do what he did. And he made a big impression, and he made it possible for guys like me to be able to come in and coming off the street, coming from a football background, and be able to get into UFC, to get into MMA and everything like that. So it's a pleasure to be remembered by such a legend.
Dude, nailed it, bro. Like full-blown nailed it because like you said, there's many pioneers, there's many bridge builders, there's many guys who cut the road first, and he did that for the brawlers, right? He reignited because the brawlers, because I've been in the fan a long time. We had Tank Abbott way back in the day, but it was another like 20 years almost until we had another brawler, like you said, enter the UFC at the higher level as the game evolved and gave inspiration to you and thousands of us, we all watched it. Kimbo was a sensation, man.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Kimbo made the UFC views go up by millions. You feel me? Like before the UFC was big, but when he got on there, I feel like he just made everybody start watching the UFC because he had a big background off of YouTube and he was getting millions of views then. So it just made it like even more inspiring for other people to want to get into MMA.
and isn't that the truth, bro? He blew up on YouTube, and look at it now. Every fighter wants to be on YouTube to blow up. Isn't it funny how time switches and roles reverse?
Yeah, because now I see like it's so many different YouTube like street beefs and all type of other like different like YouTube channels where they doing backyard fighting and everything like that. And Kimbo was the start of it.
Exactly, my man. All right, I'm gonna turn it up to the next question. Since we kind of talked about this a little bit, we talked Kimbo inspiration, bringing you up. Now we know darn well that you didn't get all of your physical abilities from just beating up brothers in the street. So can you tell us what happened that you started? Okay, I'm gonna frame this correctly though, because today's in modern society and time and age gets really weird and stuff when it comes to athletics. And in modern MMA competition, it's very common for people to be very young and start relatively like right at adulthood, entering amateurs or pros. You have a different story. Can you please tell us about it?
So like my story was like I always was fighting, and I used to always tell everybody when I like because I went to college and then I had ended up my grades ended up slipping, so I ended up going to junior college. And when I was in junior college, I used to tell everybody like, if football don't work out, I'm just gonna fight because like growing up, like my dad, he was a Olympic bodybuilder and he was a mixed martial artist, but he didn't do like street fighting. He did karate. So like I used to always like look at his trophies and everything like that. And I used to always tell people, yeah, I'm gonna fight. You feel me? It's like, bro, you crazy. You can't go fight with professional athletes and stuff. People been training their whole life. And I used to just tell people, like, watch me do it. You feel me? Like, and now look at me now. I'm doing it at the high level.
Bro, exactly that. And that's a great lesson. And I hope young people out there, any age people, just heard it. Whatever people telling you you can't do, straight up fuck them. They're not there. They don't need anybody to tell you what you can't do. You find out what you can and can't do.
I tell people all the time, as long as you got God in your life, as long as you work hard, and as long as you put 100% loyalty into your dreams and stuff like that. See, a lot of people, they're not loyal to their dreams. When you loyal to your dreams, anything can happen. You feel me? And I tell people that all the time. See, me, I was loyal to my dream. I was waking up every day, paying for private lessons in the gym every day, and now I'm one of the best fighters coming out of Florida.
Darn right you are. And I'm going to throw this up so some people might not know some of the history. Mr. Pace, he went and captured the Rise, all capital letters, Rise amateur title, and then made his debut for Combate Global's very wonderful company that has tons of viewership, tons of eyes. And I want to get into that in just a little bit. Your debut, your pro debut is for Combates, which is aired in front of millions of fans. You're not on like the average path up. I'm gonna be honest. The average path up is you're fighting on some regionals where like you're lucky if 1,000 to 10,000 people ever see your views ever, because it's in a compilation of archives under multiple paying walls. And you know what I'm saying? UFC Fight Pass. Everybody knows what I'm saying already. So if you're not underneath all those layers of I gotta get through this, get to that, you boom straight into Combates. Can you tell us a little bit about that and the benefit to you for that?
Okay, so the benefit of Combate, I'm so thankful for Combate Global for giving me an opportunity to fight because they like one of the biggest organizations in the world right now. Definitely top 5 in my eyes, you feel me, in the world. And on top of that, get hundreds of thousands and millions of views. And like they just a big organization that promote their fighters well, take care of their fighters. You see the gear, you feel me? Like they get me right with the nice gear, the nice fight gear. They make sure we stay in good hotels. They give us top of the line everything, good opponents, you feel me? Broadcast as well, promote all the fighters well. So like for me to just step out of an amateur career and get into a top company like Combate Global, it's like a dream come true. Like we had a couple of teammates, a couple of my friends on my team, they was fighting in Combate Global, and it's just like one day I end up meeting Mike, and like I tell Mike all the time, he's my guardian angel. I end up meeting him, and then me and him was talking, and he was like, "Man, this man is funny. He got a great personality." And I was just telling him, like, I was like, "Listen, like." I was like, I'm undefeated. I got all knockouts, first round finishes, and everything like that. And he was like, I'm gonna give you an opportunity. And then come to find out, called me November, and I'm like, he like, we got somebody for you to fight. I'm like, I'm ready, you know, like it was like a surprise to me because it was like, you know, in my head, I'm thinking like, I'm gonna be fighting on the regional scene for years, and I probably won't get to a top promotion until like after a year or something like that. So I'm like, and then when he gave me the call, it was like a blessing come true. So I told Mike, like, I'm forever thankful for him and Combate Global. And I'm gonna always make sure I get him the show and get him my all. That's why I come out, you know, I do my shows, you feel me? And I come out for knockouts. I don't come out to bore crowds. Like a lot of fighters, they just want to be technical and stuff like that. I could fight technical. Anybody could do it. I train technique all day long. It's nothing to be technical, but I feel like the fans want to see knockouts. And Combate Global is a company that has a lot of viewership and can get you anywhere in the world. So I feel like when I go out there, I want to get them knockouts and I want to get them the shows I seen growing up and watching Combate Global and watching my other teammates like Christian Puas and Ramiro fight and stuff like that. So it's like, and
Dude.
I owe a big thanks to my coach, Coach Awesome. You feel me? Because if it wasn't for him taking me to different events and stuff like that, see, before I started fighting and actually became an amateur, he took me to an event at Titan FC. And when he took me to the event, a big brawl happened at the event, and like somebody was like jumping one of my teammates, and he seen me punch the guy, and I knocked him out in one punch. And coach was like, "What the fuck?" He was like, "Jesus Christ!" He was like, yo, you possess real power. And then it's like he started taking me to all the Combate events, and I was just coming every weekend to the Combate events, and I was just like, man, it'd be like crazy to fight him. Once I seen like the setup, all the cameras and everything, seeing how they did the show, I was just fascinated with everything. And I was like, one day I kept telling myself I'll be here, and now I'm here.
I love that vibe. And let's go further into something you were just talking about, man. Your debuts, right? You came into the league, smoked 3 people right in a row. Boom, 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 boom. But as the road in MMA normally goes, there's a little bit of a bump in the road, which is your last one. You went to the decisions table. You went to the judges table, was on the B side of a decision, unfortunately. So I just want to get your thoughts on what was different about that opponent versus, wrecking people previously.
Me, I want that fight back. Me, I could have knocked him out. The difference with that fight was I was sick with COVID 2.5 weeks before my fight, and I still chose to fight. A lot of these fighters, they make excuses, you feel me? I didn't weather the storm, but at the end of the day, even when the storm was on my back and I was going through all different type of obstacles, I didn't even have a real fight camp for that fight, you feel me? Like, to be completely honest with you, my first 3 opponents that I fought, I didn't have no camps. My coach could vouch for me and all. Like, I was just getting up off the couch, you feel me, and knocking people out and putting them to sleep. I wasn't coming to training every day like a real professional athlete should, you feel me? Like, I got a little too comfortable after beating everybody in the amateurs and stuff like that. And I just started like trying to figure out ways to make money, you get what I'm saying? Because, obviously, like, when you're an amateur, you don't get paid anything. So, I got a job and everything like that. And I started working every day, long hours, and all the professional fighters train during the morning time. So, like, if you don't come during the morning sessions, it don't make a sense that you come train at night because there'll be a lot of hobbyists at the gym and they don't really have good skill levels. It'd be pros at the gym too at nighttime, but they be training individual drills with different coaches and stuff like that. So, like, I didn't feel the need to start coming, and I was just like, doing all the wrong stuff as an athlete, you feel me? Like putting the wrong stuff in my body, had bad habits and everything like that. And I blame myself for that loss. I can't put that loss on anybody or say he was a better athlete or a better fighter than me, because even in the fight, I gassed out within 2 minutes of the fight. I gassed out and he couldn't even finish me. So that goes to tell you a lot about him, but that goes to show you a lot about my heart and my determination as an athlete, you feel me? Like, but I learned a lot of things from that fight. Like, that fight, it really made me a better athlete. I locked myself in the gym for 8 months strong now. So it's like I haven't left the gym. I've been doing 10 plus hours a day, 2 a days. I done fixed my boxing. I done corrected a lot of errors that I had going wrong, just thinking I could just knock everybody out with one punch. Now about setting up my knockouts and everything like that. So that fight made me a better athlete as I am today. But soon I'll be able to get that fight back, and they'll be picking him up off the canvas soon.
Dude, you just knocked the fuck out of that question, bro. I'm going to just turn this to the people that are going to be watching this. Man, if you are not a fan of Mr. Jimmy Pace Jr. already, Kimbo Slice, then just by that answer, you gotta be a fan of his right there. That was a man talking man stuff about man topics. And obviously this sport is for everybody, man and woman. But that was spectacular, Mr. Pace. I like that a lot. Now, that was the past. Now we're going into the future, the very near future. So you'll be fighting on May 11th So I want to bring this up to you. One, is this your first catchweight fight? And then the second part of this question, your opponent is Jaden Ortega, obviously last minute replacement. What do you know about him?
Okay, so catchweight fight. My first professional fight was catchweight at 175. So pretty much, I'm actually happy it's a catchweight because I get them extra 5 pounds and I don't have to kill myself like I normally do to kill myself to get to 170. But I make weight easy. You know, I'm a top tier athlete that always about getting the money and everything like that. And at the end of the day, you got to make weight in order to become a champion. You feel me? It's all about doing everything the right way. As far as Jayden Ortega, I watched a couple of fights on him and stuff like that. I'm not really impressed by him. I feel like, yeah, he's a bigger dude for that middleweight, for the couple of fights at light heavyweight, but all of his opponents, they look like they grabbed him from the corner store, you feel me? Like, and just made him come fight, you feel me? Like, none of his opponents, like, really, like, impressed me. The first time he actually fought a guy who looks like an athlete that has a build and everything like that, he got finished in the first round. So I feel like all of his opponents are not really good, you feel me? I feel like at the end of the day, like, you know, him coming from Washington and competing in Muckleshoot fight night, I feel like they don't really have no good athletes or no top tier competition. Like, I kind of watched a couple of fights. I wasn't impressed with none of the fighters there. So it's like him, you know, at the end of the day, you just don't always go off a personal opponent. As far as he goes, you feel me? Like, he's a big, sturdy dude, you feel me? Like, football background and stuff like that. So it's like, me, I'm going to this fight, I'm going to put his lights out, you feel me? I feel like he's young. He has a lot of flaws in his game. It's like he go out every punch trying to knock somebody out. He swing wild. He don't have no wrestling. You feel me? I never seen him wrestle in a fight. I seen him grab somebody, but he couldn't get the takedown. I'm not really impressed with his game. You feel me? I feel like he has a lot of flaws and a lot of errors in his fight, and I'm going to, you know, take his lights out in the first round. I feel like I'm the better athlete. I feel like, to be honest, I'm the better football player too. You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
Hey,
so I feel like when it comes to overall athleticism and everything like that, I feel like I'm bigger than him. Even though I fight at a smaller weight class and he's coming from fighting at middleweight, I feel like I'm bigger than him. I feel like I'm stronger than him. The only thing he might have is an inch or two of height on me, but other than that, I feel like, as far as physique and everything go, I feel like I'm stronger than him, more explosive than him, and I feel like I got the bigger knockouts. You feel me? I feel like the people he fought, I put all of them to sleep within 30 seconds. Because his first pro fight, he fought this guy named Billy Martin. He was 7-25. Like, me personally, like, if I got knocked out 25 times, I would quit too. You get what I'm saying? Like, and the guy Billy Martin, like, he got knocked out 25. Like, when I looked on his Tapology, he got finished all 25 times in the first round. So it's not like he fought anybody like on a good level. He fought anybody that's as big as the people I fought. My first pro fight, I fought a former Bellator fighter. You get what I'm saying? Like, I fought somebody with 7 pro fights. He was 3 wins, 4 losses. No, he was 3 wins, 3 losses. I handed him his 4th loss. My second fight ended up fighting a Mexican guy, you feel me? Like, he came out firing crazy, you feel me? But I pretty much knew he didn't have a wrestling background, so I took it down to the ground. Me, I'm a former wrestler, so, you know, I know when and when not to stand and strike, you feel me? Like, my first pro fight, I didn't want to go in there and strike at all, but, you know, now I'm ready to stand up and bang, you feel me? So it's like, and then Boris, you know, a former kickboxer, you know, coming off of 2+ wins, you feel me? Like, pretty much everybody Jaden fought, if you go look at their topology, like, they don't have no good resumes. Even in his amateur career, everybody was 0-1, 0 this, 0 that. Like, the first guy he fought that was undefeated knocked him out. So it's like, maybe if I seen him fight better competition, I have like a little bit more, like, I'll be a little bit more, have a little more jitters, because, you know, as a human, we all have butterflies and we all have jitters. It don't matter where you at, you feel me? Like, even when I was a football player, like, my senior year, I was a star football player. Senior year in college, star football player, all conference player and stuff like that. Before every game, I had butterflies. You feel me? That's to let you know you're human. You get what I'm saying? I would have a little butterflies and, you know, feel like, okay, maybe he could do this, maybe he could do that. I feel like the only thing he got is a big punch, and at the end of the day, I got a big jaw. And one thing about this jaw, you feel me? All my coaches tell me all the time, hey, Jim, boy, God bless you with a crazy chin. So it's like, I feel like I could take punches. So
that's, like you said, another benefit, because you are facing a much realer, thicker, higher caliber of opponents by being there versus being in respectfully whichever blah 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 organization nobody ever heard of, right?
Yeah, because Combate Global, they're gonna go find the best of the best. On top of finding the best of the best, even if you don't find a Combate Global, they'll put you on different leagues fighting the best of the athletes. They sent people to Japan, they sent people to Colombia and everything, like to go get belts and stuff like that. Combate Global is just a great organization globally. You feel me? Like they don't just always just throw events there, even though they have the top events. They send you other places to go beat on people. You feel me? So you're gonna fight the top tier athletes and Combate Global, and they're gonna send you other places to fight top tier athletes.
Dude, and that sounds like something to be very grateful for. I'm grateful for your time. I'm grateful for the people that's going to watch this live and then later. And then, of course, Jimmy, Mr. Kimbo Slice, I should say. Thank you for your time. And I'm going to give this time to you to say any thank yous, any shout outs, anything you want to say to the people.
Okay, see me, I want to thank Goat Shed Academy and thank Coach Awesome, you feel me, for them having my back after my loss and telling me all the right things and put me back on the right track. I want to give a major shout out to Combate Global, you feel me, for always having my back, putting me in the right situations, making sure I'm always fighting, making sure I'm active and treating the athletes the best, you feel me, and giving me a big platform. And I want to give you a major shout out, you feel me, for this interview, you feel me, like I'm hyped, I'm ready to fight, you feel me, I'm ready. Rob Nakamura, thank you so much. I appreciate you, you feel me, and shout out to all of my sponsors, you feel me, who've been sponsoring me. Maximum Human Performance, you feel me, they've been giving me the top probiotics, the top vitamins and everything like that. And just shout out to everybody, you feel me? This gonna be a hell of a fight right here, you feel me? I'm going to put his lights out and I'm going to get my win streak back, you feel me? And erase that feeling that I have deep down inside, you feel me? Like I'm on a mean streak right now. I feel like a lot of people slept on me. A lot of people started acting funny, started feeling like, oh, but they don't know I'm in best shape of my life right now, and I'm ready. I'm ready for war.
You talk about street fighting, you talk about being tough in the street or being tough anywhere. Shit just happens. And one thing that does happen is fights at the fights, brawls at the halls, so to speak, right? When sometimes you pay for a few fights and you get one for free. And it's awesome that way. If you've ever been there, you ever had that experience, it's wild. I have, but I'll tell my story last. I'm gonna get to these guys first. Ricky, you ever been to a fight and then a free one happens?
Listen, I've never been involved in one. I've seen a few from a distance. The closest I ever came to something crazy happening was actually like not at a fight. It was at a preseason NFL game. Cardinals, Cowboys. We went to Arizona. We watched the game. Preseason, all right? It's not sold out stadium. It's nothing like that. Just like half the amount of people there. Preseason game. I was maybe 10, 11 years old. Me and my dad go to the restroom in between quarters. We're in there pissing. Some guy walks in, Cardinals fan, sees myself and my father, a few other Cowboys fans in there, decides they're throwing beer at us. They just start splashing us in the back with beer. My dad's pissed off, but he has me. So a fight starts breaking out. He's just grabbing me, like getting out of there. These guys are rumbling in and we escape. So I understand the importance of it. But one thing I will say about those fights, ladies, don't get involved. Please don't get involved. The amount of times that I've seen, sometimes firsthand, but unfortunately a lot of times just on the internet, of women that are either initiating the fight or instigating the fight between the guys, or times where girls just think that it's a smart idea to get involved and try to fight as well and throw hands as well. And listen, we love you. We love you dearly. Stay out of the physical altercations, because when guys are drunk and they're that pissed off and they get hit, they're not going to think. And I don't know how many times we've all seen it. I'm sure you guys have seen it well, where unfortunately a girl gets hit, and I hate seeing that. So ladies, when a fight breaks out, if you can grab your man, get him the hell out of there, cool. If not, just stay the hell away. I remember one time, I think Raiders, Chargers, some game, where it seemed like the guys weren't going to fight each other, and a lady from like 2 rows down throws a beer straight at a guy's face. He thinks it comes from one of the dudes, and just punches one of the guys, and a whole brawl breaks out because this lady decided she was going to get involved, throw a beer at somebody. Like, ladies, get the hell out of there. Don't get hit. Don't get hurt. I hate nothing more than when I see girls get knocked out or something that in any situation, but especially like if they're not signing up for it, if they're not a cage fighter, like I don't want to see. I mean, even if they are, I don't really want to see them get knocked out. But you get what I'm saying.
Definitely get what you're saying, bro. Sean, what about you?
Yeah, I've seen a fight. I've seen a couple of football games, baseball games. The most recent one I've seen at a live sporting event was UFC 288. It was last summer, I believe. And what I remember is it was a snooze fest. I want to say Crone Gracie was pulling guard. Everybody was getting tired of it. And out of the corner of my eye, looked up, and there was two dudes. I don't know where they're from. All I can say is a brawl broke out, and everybody's attention turned away from the octagon and went on to the fight in the crowd in section 113 or wherever it was happening. I saw two police officers sprint up to it, but by that time the fight was already broken up. Those police officers came down, and since I was sitting on the aisle, the entranceway for the fighters, these police officers had that access where they were down on that aisle as well. They came over to where me and my friends were sitting, and they came over to us and were like, "Did you guys see what happened? We missed it. We wanted to see the fight." So that just goes to show police officers, fans, whoever it is, they want to see the fight as well. Even if they have to arrest people, everybody loves fighting.
Everybody loves fighting. You know who loves fighting? The people at the fights really love fighting. So this is my story. So this is a long time ago at the Super Brawl in Honolulu, Hawaii, at the Blaisdell Arena, later turned into Icon Sport. Two combatants were doing their thing. One man was applying an armbar to another man. The guy who was applying the arm was getting armbarred. His dad shoots into the ring and starts like basically attacking the other guy, right? So that the guy who is applying the armbar, his coach shoots across the ring and blasts that guy. Then the ringside cop gets in there. Both corners have cleared. Now it's like a 6-man rumble in there. The first cop that was in there, he got punched. He drops. And then all hell breaks loose. A whole bunch more people pile in. A whole bunch of cops pile in. Me and my dad are sitting there front row. A classmate of mine who's one of the ring girls, shout out pro bodybuilder Brandy Lever. What's up? She's a ring girl. She's right in front. And the mace that gets this, like the cops are not playing. They just uncork like 20 cans of the red sauce, and it just turns into this big mushroom cloud, and then it falls down and it just engulfs everybody. The whole arena had to get evacuated for like 30 minutes. Did we stop the fights? No. I mentioned this is in Hawaii. We paid for our tickets. We're gonna see these fights. But anyways, that was my wildest experience, inhaling a good amount of police crowd deterrent mace, whatever you want to call it. It sucked, and it was wild. But be careful, folks, when you're out there fighting at your random locations, because you never know who's in the crowd, and it might be the very next best thing, big thing in fighting. Our boy Tony Cortez got something to say about it. Mr. Cortez, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Good, brother. I appreciate your time. I'm glad you're here. Glad to get to talk to you. First off, let's just get into you, man. Your fight's coming up. What else do you want the world to know?
Um, that's it. Just the next fight. I'm just ready to. That's my main focus right now. Ready to come in, kill or be killed. I also do. Actually, I also do insurance, life insurance. So if any fighters want life insurance, get at me.
There you go. That's important, man. Very important. Let's get to the first question. Uh, let's start with getting to know you. You had a very, very good standout amateur career. Your amateur career is very solid, 7-0, just filled with finishes. I think only one decision. That's very, very good. And then obviously perfect as a pro, 2-0 in combates, and that's great, man. That's a really strong start. So one, what would you give credit to being undefeated? And second, how important is keeping the perfect record?
Um, I give credit to being undefeated to my mindset. I don't go in there to win a fight or to have fun it is fun. I love having fun, fighting. That's my favorite thing to do, but I take it very seriously. I go in there to kill or be killed because I feel as if my why is greater than everybody else's, and there's so many people that I can help that can relate to me and be inspired by me. So I take that into the cage and I use it.
The fight game is filled with challenges, it's like a never-ending list of challenges. One of those things is, unfortunately, you were paired up to fight your current opponent, excuse me, Mauricio Rios. You and him were set to fight each other in the past. Things happened. There was a you missed weight, and the fight didn't happen. Now, there's a couple parts to that, right? So I'm gonna dive a little deeper into those questions. One, can you tell us why you missed weight?
To be honest, to be real, I was being a little dumb, and I felt like Mauricio Rios just wasn't a challenge for me. So I barely trained. I didn't really do much. I didn't take the fight seriously. I didn't take him seriously, and then I ended up missing weight. And that's just what happened. And, that's my fault. But, him not taking the fight taught me one of the greatest lessons. And that's, I got to take this sport serious. Even though I could go in there and win with just my talent, I got to be disciplined. And him not taking the fight is dumb on his part. He would have got more money for the fight. He would have took a percentage of my purse, which would have been more than his whole pay. And he would have fought me at my worst. And then now he has to fight me at my best. He's not going to take a percentage of my money because I'm going to make weight, and he's going to get beat up. So it's like you could have got beat up, got a percentage of my money, and left, real nice and happy. But now you're going to get beat up, and now you don't get shit. So, but you taught me a good lesson. So I appreciate that. That. Thank you for that. That's what I tell all these guys. It's like you're nobody. You're just a stepping stone for my story, and that's it. So thank you, Mauricio Rios. And May 11th, I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker.
Hey, let them know that's what we're here to do. And you know what, Tony? I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate you just coming straight forward with it. And I think the fans will appreciate that for real. Also, I appreciate the fact that you look at something, evaluate it, and try to come out the other side a better man, a better athlete for it. We can all look up to that, man. That's all something we try to do no matter what or what we're doing in life. Now, getting into the nitty-gritty of that though, we gotta look at some other things, such as what is your current weight management? What are you actively doing this time different?
Actually following a strict diet plan. I'm working with Always Ready Meals. I've been working with them for 8 weeks. So just getting my weight down, drinking water like I'm supposed to. The last time around, bro, I was eating fucking chocolates like every day. I didn't give a fuck. I don't know. I'm learning on the job, bro. I'm 22, I'm like fucking I don't like other people have like other types of shit that I don't have. I got myself. I learned everything from myself. Some of my teammates I learned from them, but like I never had guidance, in this. I did everything. I've learned everything on my own. I put myself in this sport. I didn't have fucking none of that shit. You see these boxers and they got like their dads with them and like or their coach is their dad and like fucking it's like they have like everything, every opportunity in the world to be great, which is good, good for them. My point is that I don't have none of that. My dad was in prison my whole life. I was in the fucking I was in the gym because I had to be there or else I was gonna be in the streets, So it is what it is. And I come from where I come from, bro. I wear it on my chest. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking I'll say I come from the cracks in the kitchen, like a fucking. I grew up with roaches crawling on my fucking back, and yeah, I grew up in the United States, and sometimes Mexicans be like, "Oh, uh, you had a better life or whatever," but it is what it is. I have more opportunity, and I'm taking advantage of it. So
Well, that's what it is, bro. And I respect that journey. And let me tell you something. As you know, you're still young. You got your whole prime in front of you, 22. Little bit of older man here. I just turned 39. But I didn't have anybody, but I followed my heart and I had an 11-year pro career in racing. So whatever you want to do, bro, I believe in that. And I believe in you. And you don't have to have any of that support. So I got you, man. I really, really, really like your message there. And I think people will too.
thank
Now hell yeah, dude. That's what it's up. Um, Now, on the fun side, because people got to get to know you. So, if you were to describe your fight style to fans, how would you go about it?
My fight style, I think I'm very smart, very calculated. If you look at my landing percentage, it's high. Like my first pro fight, I think it was like 96%. I'm very smart, very calculated, but if the fight has to get ugly and dirty, I'm with that any day of the week. I would love to just get in there and just fucking chuck them, But you do got to be smart. If you want to be the best fighter in the world, you got to have the highest fight IQ. So that's where I feel like my talent is that I'm a natural fighter since the day I started fighting, and I like to fucking bang it out. I like to stand on the feet. You know what I'm saying? If I gotta take somebody down and fucking slam them, smash them on their head, I could do that too. I wrestled 4 years in high school. I was ranked number 6 in the state at one point. I did jujitsu since I was 10 years old. I'm 22 now, and I've been boxing for like 4 years. So boxing, kickboxing. I just like to fight. I want to put on a show. I want it to. I want to go for the finish. I'm not trying to win a decision or hold somebody like Mauricio Rios. Mauricio Rios likes to grab people and like sniff nuts. I don't like to do that shit. I like to fucking I like to hurt people. That's what I want to do. That's where I'm coming from. Where I want to go in there and I want to be the first person to catch a body in the cage on live TV so everybody's scared of me. Nobody wants to fight me and everybody respects me. That's what I want.
Dude, that is a standard I can get behind, man. I mean, it would. I mean, you're not gonna. I can't disagree with you, bro. If you're the first to do it, I follow your dreams, bro. That's your dream. I support it. Now you are a finisher. There's no doubt about that, dude. You finish people from the Amis to the pros. You finish.
So,
Um, can not just what does finishing mean to you in the fight game, but what do you think the perception or the value of finishes in the fight game as a whole is?
uh, people want to see finishes. Nobody wants to see it go to a decision. There's no real winner there. When I fight people, I want to make sure that they know they can never ever beat me. I got a 6-second knockout for the California state title fight. You think that guy would ever try to fight me? Hell no. I want motherfuckers to be scared of me. You know what I mean? And that's why I want to go in there and finish people. And when it comes to like the organization or promotion and stuff, finishes are big. Look at Mike Tyson. He's got how many knockouts? People want to see that. Conor McGregor, hella knockouts. That's what people want to see. And I want knockouts and I want sick ass submissions. I want to slam somebody on their head and knock them out. I want the craziest shit ever where you're just like, holy fuck, like what the fuck just happened? That's what I'm trying to do. I want to make holy fuck moments like, wow, like something's wrong with that guy. And there is. So,
That's exactly how you become a star, my man. We know what impacts the fight game, and you're absolutely right. Finishes make stars, finishes sell tickets, and that's it, right? That is the fight game. So I really appreciate that. Now you're talking about, I'll say it like you. You know when motherfuckers want to try to test you, you want them all to be scared, right? So with that being said, featherweights in your area in combates, is there anybody else? Obviously, respect your opponent, Mr. Rios, but who else would you want to fight? Who else do you think is worthy of your challenge?
worthy of my challenge. Anybody can come and get it. Anybody who thinks they could beat me can come and get it. There is one motherfucker that I want to chuck him with, and that's the guy who won the Copa thing. I respect him as a fighter and whatnot. He might I don't know who the fuck he is, but I just think I could beat him any day of the week. I think I'm much better than him. I forgot his name. He won the Copa though. He won the $100,000 tournament. But if they would have put me in that tournament, I'd have $100,000 right now, and a bunch of heads. So that's what.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So talking about that, Combate, one of the few standing that allow the single night tournament, big money, obviously, that goes with it. Is that something you're interested in? You want to enter the Copa?
Fuck yeah. I hear my homie Bobby Green, he's like, oh, I fought 3 times in a day. And I'm like, damn, like that sounds like some real fighter shit. And bro, like fighting is nothing to me. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'll fight. I'll go in there and fight with the broken hand, bro. I dislocated my collarbone my senior year in high school wrestling, and I still went out there and wrestled with a dislocated collarbone. I put my arm behind my back and I shook the dude's hand and I started wrestling. I lost because I had a fucking broken bone, but my point is that I don't give a fuck like about anything. Like I'm I'm not scared to die. That's what's wrong with me. It's like I don't give a fuck.
My man, I don't think that's what's wrong with you. I think that's maybe what's right with you and what's a fit for you. A shout out to a fight legend of a different era, Pioneer Ensign Inoue, someone I'm pretty close with. I like to think so. And he was like that. He had death literally marked in the back of his head. He went in there with that mindset, and he's a legend, and people still love him till today, all these years later. So I don't think you're wrong for that, man. I think that's pretty cool.
Like
Um,
I see I seen this thing where it says death is the only thing that is guaranteed to man. So and all you could do is smile back. And in order to be willing in order to be great, you got to be willing to die. So I'm willing to die to be great any day of the week. Come get some. I'm gonna
there you
die for my dreams. I don't have nothing else. What the fuck else do I have besides trying to make this shit work? Nothing. You know what I mean? I don't have shit. This is my purpose. This is all I got. So if I die, I don't give a fuck.
you're fulfilling your life path. And dude, you know what? I also commit to the all in mindset. I was there once, bro. I like the way you think. I know not the same situations, but being committed, all in, not scared, bro. I vibe with you so hard on that. Now talking about going backwards and forwards a little bit, you obviously had a great amateur career, and then you get signed by Combates. Combates is not like the usual route. It's kind of a much better route. It's not the regional scene where their product is stacked under multiple paywalls and all this. With Combate, you're right in the face of millions of people on TV across all over the place, all over the land, all over the world. So could you talk about maybe some of the benefits of going right into a pretty major organization?
I think the benefits are just the publicity that you get, the fans that you can create. You know, there's so much opportunity, and not only that, they also they pay a lot of money. You know, but I think it's a good place to go if you wanna be big in the fight world, if you wanna make a name for yourself in the Latin community, and you know that's my goal right now to I want the Latin community to know who I am. So I think that's a big plus.
It definitely is a big plus, my man. Definitely. Um, and you know what the cool thing is? Now there's non-Spanish speakers like myself. I love Combates. I love Combates when it was Combates America. So I'm gonna do my best to spread it to the English speakers and like, yo, listen, this is a great place to watch fights because it is. It just is. And I'm glad that you said they treat you well and things are going good there. Now,
Mm.
in conclusion, my man, there's always room for thanks. We gotta thank the people, and you got to 7-0, now 2-0, and hopefully 3-0. Is there people, persons, anything you want to thank the people?
I want to thank God for allowing me to be here and live out my dreams and you know for keeping me safe when I was in the wrong places at the wrong time, making the wrong choices, and you know now I get a second chance at life, and you know I get to make the most out of it. And anybody else who's helping me along the way, you know my coaches, Sam Mason, my teammate Bobby Green, my mom, uh, and then my girlfriend right now, she's been helping me a lot too. So you know thank you to all of them.
I think Tony's a really, really interesting person, man. He speaks from the heart, talks about a lot of things, and one of those things is taking chances and growing because of it. My guys, I know we're all at slightly different stages of time of manhood, but I know for a fact taking chances and growing is really, really important to personal development. And I'm just speaking for myself. I'll just give you guys a chance to weigh in on that topic of taking a chance and seeing what happens. Sean, what's up?
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in you have to take chances in order to gain success. Even as corny as it sounds, that lottery phrase, you got to buy a ticket to win the lottery. Same thing in all aspects of life, though. You got to try out for the basketball team in order to make the basketball team. You got to put one foot forward in order for the other foot to follow. Um, I think Tony's one of those guys, and I think a lot of more people would be inspired by his story and that success, and especially young people in general. They should be able to follow that.
That's right.
Yeah, man, it's so funny because I was literally just watching yesterday, I believe, Joe Rogan podcast. Shout out Joe Rogan. But they were talking, they're kind of shitting on this like manifestation, and they're like, it's nonsense. You can't just manifest things. You can't just think things are going to happen and they happen. You have to put in the work. You have to actually do those things. And I agree with all of that. Of course, it's not just going to happen. You have to put in the work. But I think manifestation, that theory, that logic behind it, is really just an unwavering belief in yourself. And no matter who it is, in what profession, in what career, when you hear the top of the top, the people who excel at it better than anybody, they all have the same thing, which is, yeah, I've just always believed in myself. There was nobody that was going to take me off this course. I mean, there was a guy at one point who was a basketball player that wanted to be wanted to make varsity's freshman year, couldn't do it. Wasn't the number one draft pick coming out of college, and yet he's arguably the greatest player of all time, named Michael Jordan. So him, Kanye, anybody, whether you agree with them or not, like that unwavering belief in yourself and taking that opportunity, taking that chance, and no matter what, no matter how many people tell you, like, hey, that goal is unobtainable. Hey, those dreams that you have, they just don't happen. That's what manifestation is it doesn't matter what happens day to day. I'm still going to get there. I'm still going to be successful in that thing. And we see these fighters time and time again, how many of them lose fights early, get beat up, think this isn't for them, have been told this isn't for them, get doubted on the way to the top 15, get doubted on the way to the top 5, get doubted in the championship fight. And it just doesn't matter because they have that unwavering belief in themselves. And I think that's the only way to get to the top is by having that.
Absolutely. Now, let this be known. Taking a chance and growing because of it is completely different than fucking around and finding out. Okay, those are different things. They sound similar, but they're not. Now talking about a wonderful program, a wonderful promotion, and a wonderful fighter within it. Someone who took a lot of chances on herself and got better because of it. The awesome Alejandra Lara. Ms. Lara, how you doing?
Hi, very good. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you for your time. Glad you're here. Now, first things first, we'll talk about the business at hand. You are fighting very, very, very soon, May 11th. Can you tell us about how you're feeling, excitement levels, anything like that?
Yeah, finally. I was preparing for so long and I was expecting to have a big fight and this is the best opportunity. So I'm so grateful with Combate for giving me this match and yeah, it's gonna be so fun.
Definitely. Main events are awesome. Definitely doing that. And let's go into you just a little bit. You have like an amazing finishing rate. Honestly, 77% of your wins are finishes, and that's a really high percentage, male or female, doesn't matter, especially over 15 fights. You have over 15 pro fights, and that's really, really high. On the other side of it, well, unfortunately 86% of your losses come by decision. So I'm thinking you don't want this to go to the judges. What are you going to do about that?
Yeah, like all of my last losses were split decisions and very controversial ones. But yeah, I feel I'm a different fighter now, most in the sense that I'm not going just to fight, but to win now. I was always like improvising and very impulsive with the way I was fighting. And now I feel mature enough to do things different, to have a strategy, a game plan that it's good for me. So I felt that's different now.
Well, maturity and experience are definitely huge factors in developing anything you do in life. So I appreciate that answer, and I'm glad you feel that way and confident and going in positive directions, not just you know growing and growing internally and in the sport. So that's really awesome. Um, Now I noticed when you look into your background of fighting, you turned pro very young, 17 years old when you turned pro. No amateur experience, which was normal in like the previous eras of MMA, but abnormal in today's MMA. I got to ask a couple questions with that. One, was that turning pro early part of the regional conditions you started in, or was that personal choice?
No, I always say I didn't choose MMA. MMA just found me in the way because
Yes.
I didn't even train MMA for that time when I took that first fight. That was just something that just happened, and they say, "Oh, you want to take this fight?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" I was in martial arts, but I was fighting in Sanda. I thought was pretty similar, so I just say, "Okay, let's go." But yeah, at that time was one of the first MMA events and female fights in my city, in my country. So I felt that that was awesome. Like I am a pioneer still, uh, and yeah, it is how it is. I just took advantage of that in many senses was good for me because I fought my first fight with people with the same experience that I had. There's none. But when I became pro in big leagues, because my first fight in Mexico was for a belt and I won that fight, but was against someone again with not that much experience. But then I entered in big leagues and I start facing the top ranked in the world, and that was like, oh wow, that was a big step, and that was really a dive into the Shark Tank, and I think no one expected me to do well in that first fight or in the next, but yeah, it was good to know myself in the cage and in the path. It's how it was for me.
And I want to expand on that because I'm a big fan of the pioneer era. I've been a fan of MMA since it started here in America. But like you said, you're a pioneer in your country, and in women's MMA, it's a younger sport as a whole. And I think that's really awesome. And there's a common link there with pioneers where they say that like I was just doing some other stuff I like to do, and then boom, MMA entered my life and you answered the call. Don't take anything away from yourself, ma'am. You said, "Yup, I'll do it," and you kept doing it. So I think that's a beautiful story, and thank you for sharing like how that came to be. Now, another part that looked into you and found out is that you're into dancing. And I think, and just my observation, there's a lot of great fighters, and dancing is in their background. Now, there's something obviously we know what it is. It's the footwork, and maybe rhythm and balance and all the other great things that come with it. Um, I'm starting to have my own suspicions that dancing is a secret best base in combat sports. Could you explain the benefits of dancing and fighting?
Yes, of course. I mean, dancing is part of my life in a sense of expression, self expression, because I didn't did that well with choreographies or that kind of stuff, but I always like to explore movement. I'm in that current right now, like with Budokan University that I'm working with, this guy that makes yoga with martial arts, and it's something that makes me the fighter I am, like the flexibility, as you say, the stability, the rhythm. That there's a lot of things that influence in my style, and also the acrobatic part because that was a big thing for me. What one of my passions was aerial silks and pole dancing, and that what make me so strong. And always people ask like, why are you so strong? And I always say, okay, I was hanging for my life a lot of times. I think it's because of that.
That is so underrated when people talk about that kind of stuff, the acrobatics, gymnastics, or pole or silk ribbon dancing. All that stuff is super intense, and like you said, you're holding on for your life. This is great motivation to keep going. Yeah. You say like being that's an intense situation. Fighting is an intense situation. So there's many things that you just shared that balances between dance and fighting. So thank you so much for that. Now I just want to be clear. Are you still training in San Diego?
Yes, but it's like a transition I made because I was interested on improving my English, on working. I was giving kickboxing classes, and also I took a instructor course, and I got a certificate to be a underwater trainer that I am now. So I was in an exploration here of different gyms, different partners, and working a lot in my wrestling, grappling. Also, I found this kickboxing. Oh, it's Katzingano's striking coach. It's Janix, who is I'm taking him with me for this fight. But I'm still working with Grasso's team in Mexico, and they were here in Vegas too for a couple weeks, and then I went there to work on that. You know, they have this strong Mexican boxing and striking. Yeah, we're still team, but yeah, they gave me also the opportunity to go and explore the world. That it's part of me.
That is wonderful. And I'm glad you mentioned Vegas. That's where I'm at. But with that being said, I want to kind of shift because you talked about a lot of the opportunity, a lot of trying new stuff, and it sounds like you're a woman of like endless talents, honestly, like underwater skills, acrobatic aerial skills, on the ground, bust your face up skills, like so many skills. I want to ask though, can I ask a little bit more about the transition of life personally or just cultural experiences between your homeland of Colombia, all your travels in between, and now in the US?
Well, I feel I always lived that way. Like I was known in the university or in any part for doing a lot of stuff always. Like I've been working since I was 18. I worked as a personal trainer. Like I worked in a gym because they say, "Oh, you're an athlete, you know how to warm up people." And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And I started working with that besides my work with silks and everything, besides my work singing and dancing. I feel having hyperactivity is a superpower in that sense because I always been doing a lot of different stuff that now it's what makes me the fighter I am, the integral. I feel so well rounded, and I'm always moving. Like I found my manager when I was in Colombia, and he helped me to go out to train in the US, to train in Mexico, and I'm always open to new experiences. So yeah, it's part of that.
That is a wonderful explanation. And I'm sure when people get to see this and understand that you are respectfully like an awesome onion, many layers, like the old Shrek joke from a long time ago.
You get it. We both have layers.
So that's really cool that you have so many diverse assets and different points of view because I genuinely believe that all these experiences help make a stronger mind. And obviously, the mind is a very, very key ingredient in being a successful fighter. Now, talking about being a successful fighter, you have a fight in front of you. Things have shifted a little bit. You had one opponent, that opponent got injured, canceled, now changed. You have a new one. What do you know about your new opponent? And have you made any changes because of it?
Yeah, well, at the beginning, I was very excited to fight Loba because she's a combative superstar, and I know that will be so good fight for the fans, for everyone. But okay, let's uh accept that it's not happening now. I hope it's happening in the future. But the game plan didn't change that much because these girls both have like same striking background and very aggressive going forward. So don't change that much. I changed at the beginning, like the gym I was training in, because I was here in San Diego. I was training with Phil Davis, and then uh, the day before they announced me like, oh, you're fighting Loba, and I was like, oh, great. And the next day we met at the gym, and I was like, oh, hi. But then I leave the gym because okay, you were here first. I respect your space. So it's okay. And then I changed. There are many options to train here, so I just adjust, and yeah, that was it.
Fair enough. I respect that. Now, is there anything that you would like to share with your fans, people who need to know you, like a punchline? What is somebody who doesn't know you? Tell them something they should know, and someone who already does know you, maybe share a few words for them too.
Well, people always say that they don't understand how my personality is so like sweet and warm, but when I enter to the cage, I am a different person, and I'm finding that too. Like I'm really so different, and I am a beast, and I'm more in that. Uh, Knowledge of that beast, because yeah, I have this intensity and this aggressiveness that I've been developing even more. And yeah, right now I with 13 years of experience, I'm not improvising anymore. And yeah, I feel so prepared, as I say before, and this is the moment to show that I've been doing things different, because it's the moment to fight to win.
To win. I like what you said right there. I got 13 years experience. I'm not improvising anymore. You're like about 2 years away from theoretical mastery. When if you put 15 years of your life, they say there's something you become a master. So it looks like you're right there at the edge of mastery, and it's very, very awesome to get to talk to you at this point. I like your confidence, I like where your mind's at. I'm gonna be watching. I know our fans are gonna be watching. We'll be supporting. And I'm going to just use this moment now to say thank you to you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your knowledge. And last but most importantly, you. Is there anybody you want to thank and let them know how you feel?
Well, I need to thank the people who opened the opportunity of being here, like Lima, Lay McFarlane, that she was a very important part of this
Fellow
training camp.
Hawaiian, yeah.
Uh-huh, yeah. And all the trainers I had around. Also, I mean, Katzingano was also part of my training camp. She was so involved in this. And yeah, and also my coach Pancho Grasso, he's amazing. I have so much respect for him, and all my partners around. Also my boyfriend, who is so supportive, and my friend Kenny Enriquez. She's a world champ in boxing, and she's here with me. It's a great sparring, and also a friend, emotional support, and everything else. So yeah, I have a great team, and I'm so grateful. And also thanks to all the people who is always showing support and watching the fight. And I know this is gonna be a great show. Don't miss out that. You can find me as Aleja Azul Lara or Alejandra Azul Lara in all my social media. And yeah, don't miss my fight.
We're talking about Combate Global as a whole. You guys seen it? We have three wonderful fighters with very high finishing rates. I believe Ms. Lara's is like 77%. Jimbo Slice 100. Tony Cortez, guess what? Also 100. It's I can guarantee you this. I'm not a man of throwing around many guarantees, but Combate Global, Lara vs Luna, there will be finishes. I can guarantee you that. And gentlemen, let's bring it roundtable style. Combate Global. Let's go around with this because I think it's a big it's a big product that does a lot of good stuff, gets a lot of good talent. Once again, you heard from the fighters, they're fighting all over, good, they're taken care of. And for some reason, and I'm not gonna play the race card, but for some reason, many outlets choose to ignore it simply because it has a little bit of a Spanish catering. There's broadcast in English, by the way. It's on Fuse TV. They have full English everything. Their website is in both languages. I don't know, man. I'll go to the only bilingual guy in the room, Ricky. What's your thoughts on this?
Still looking for this bilingual guy, man. I don't know where he's at. He ain't in this room. But I agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more. Like being a Combate Global, just getting into it, like looking at it deeper. First and foremost, I will say thank you so much to the 3 fighters we had on here. Very appreciative of them. Looking forward to their fights. And yeah, it's not hard, guys. It's not hard to find them. I put all of their Instagrams links right over the top. You saw them already. Not hard to find them, not hard to follow them. It's not hard to follow Combate Global, to know when they're fighting, where they're at, to listen to the broadcast in English. Like, it's not hard to do it. So to see them not kind of get the recognition that I think they deserve is kind of hard to see. But at the end of the day, May 11th is going to be a reason why you should tune in. Watch the fights, fall in love with the fighters. Everybody on here, you saw us, they all spoke English and they all spoke it really, really well. So give them a follow, watch their fights. Tony Cortez, man, I love all of them. Tony, I can't wait to see that dude. He's a freaking pit bull, man. Just an absolute pit bull. I watch him like, bro, if I go into a dark alley, I'm going with that guy, all right? Because I don't want to go against that guy in a dark alley. I want him with me. I can't wait to see him fight. And yeah, man, Combate Global as a whole. Listen, my favorite female fighter right now, outside of Alexa Grasso, is definitely Yasmin Howdagi. Where did she come from? Combate Global. I just said Alexa Grasso. Who did we just hear talk about the Grasso family? Azulada. Like, all the connections are there, guys. Everybody that you see, oh man, Alexa Grasso's cool. Well, this girl trains with that team and her uncle and her father. Like, they're all connected. So check it out, man. They have a hand in all of that. Big shout out to the Grassos. Yeah, Sean, what you got for us, man?
Yeah, I'm extremely excited to keep doing our thing with Combate Global, having this connection with them. All of these fighters we've been gifted to speak with has been a pleasure, and I'm so thankful we've had these 3 fighters on this week. This is a promotion that I believe is just going to skyrocket. The people that are behind it, guys, creator of the UFC, come on now. You can't really go wrong. Do your research, find out who's involved, find out where things are going. Like, these are smart minds. These are geniuses behind the things that are involved. And plus, guys, visually, if you haven't seen Combate Global, visually it's incredible. I think you guys, just the eye pleasure in general, if you guys just like the aura of things around the octagon, Combate Global is a thing that will really, really set you guys off. And these are top-notch fighters. Like you guys said, with Tony, Kimbo Slice, my guy, man, I just saw this guy hop the octagon fence, go over, steal the announcer's headset, and give his own little spiel. Even though you're not supposed to do that, he did it, and man, that is stardom right there. So, Combate Global, I'm so thankful that you guys are giving us the opportunity.
Hell yeah, viva la combate, as they say. Now, a couple of things. When you watch it, you might hear a phrase, and forgive me because my Spanish is bad, but they say a term la jaula. Am I saying it? La jaula? The jaula.
Sounds right to me.
But hey, whatever. It's basically they're saying the cage, the circle, or some shit like that. And that's when you hear it. They don't say the octagon, they say that. I've been trying to learn as much as I can. Hey, I'm from a rock in the middle of the sea. I'm trying my best. But when it comes down to just the fighting, we don't need to learn languages, right? Like, look, that's the beautiful part of MMA. We can literally enjoy athletes no matter the English or language barrier of any type or any level. And let this be known that yes, there are many, you look them up, there are many already alumni of Combate that goes into the UFC, but they're not considered a feeder league. They're not. You heard the fighters from themselves and how they're getting paid, how they're getting treated. They're their own entity. So add this on your combat menu. Add it into your combat life. Enjoy. It's a gift from us to you. Once again, we love combat sports, so we're trying to talk about all of them that do their own work, do their own due diligence. And last but not least, if you don't want to take any of my words for it, which you don't have to, tell Rob, shut up. What you want to do is check out Forbes. Forbes put a top 10 together of the best combat sports companies. 2 of those are wrestling, and I say throw that out of the mix. but Combate already made that list with those guys in there. So that's telling you something. They made the top 10 combat sports companies on the planet. So check them out. It's worth every dime because it's free on TV. Go check them out. All right. Now, we're at that part of the show where we're going to say some thanks, give some love, and to all the stuff. So I'm going to start with my man, Sean.
Yeah, I'm thankful you guys keep watching us, keep giving us a chance, and keep giving us that chance because we only got good things to come. We got fire. We have good interviews lined up. We have big news to come. We're partnering with some big people. We got a pipeline of great fighters. I'm telling you, great shit to come. And thank you to the AllStar. Thank you guys for putting us on there. I'm thankful for all this opportunity. You guys are giving us a chance to speak. The two other guys on this show, huge thank you to them. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. So we're coming out strong the rest of the year for sure.
That's right. Just getting started.
Yep. Then thank you to my boys, man, to Rob and Sean. Thank you to you guys, and thank you to you guys watching, the people that have seen episode 1 through now 5. Like Sean says, we got a lot of great stuff coming for you. A new segment coming up for you guys as well, where you guys get to be part of it. Stay tuned. Pay close attention to @JSpec, the host on Twitter from Rob. He's going to post some questions that are going to get put onto our episode. So a little bit more engagement with you guys. And that's the key to us, man. Engage. We want to hear from you. We want to pop you guys up on the screen. We want to be able to interact with you guys more and more and more. So don't be afraid. Don't be hesitant to engage with us and let us know how you feel. Let us know your thoughts. Share your opinions. And we're definitely going to interact with you guys.
That's what it's all about. You know, that's what it's all about. I make this joke all the time. Without you guys, I'm just a man talking to himself. So I appreciate that. Now, shameless plug for the longest lasting combat sports space on all of X. Join us. Find those ats. We talk every UFC event we gather up and other major combat sports events we gather up too. This coming week has a lot of fights. I'm not even going to go into it, but if you see us active, you see a little purple icon around our names on the X platform. Wow, that was so hard to say. We join us. Everyone is welcome. Literally, that's the policy. Now, last but very important, super shameless plug. We'll have a very, very special all-telling interview with Dan the B7. I know we've been teasing it for a while. The episode is coming out on the beautiful and wonderful AllStar Sports YouTube channel. So when you see, you gotta have that.
It might be out already. It might be out already.
Yeah, it might be. It might have loaded right
by
now.
the time this comes out, it's already out. Yeah.
This is the funny thing about recording stuff and then releasing it in time later. Oops. Anyways, the point being is notification, bro. You would know because it would come up. Hey, oh, what the hell? Now, that is a different take than what we do. It's a great full-length interview, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Once again, comment, let us know, talk to us. In the meantime, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, right? It's been a good time. We'll see you next time.
Combate Global, May 11th, Fuse TV. Watch it.